So we continue with our effort to understand the excerpt of the play The Browning Version by Terence Rattigan in class 11th. On the surface, as I've already mentioned in the previous slide, this play is about a student and teacher interacting with each other, and a teacher indirectly trying to elicit information from the child about other teachers and instigating the child to provoking the child to come out with other pieces of information that the school or other teachers do not know. So in this case, in the context, to put things in perspective, the child is Taplow. He's a 16-year-old boy, and the teacher he meets is Frank Hunter. Now, whereas Taplow is on his way to Crocker Harris, who happens to be his teacher of class 6. Taplow is a student of lower 5 form. He's a student of lower 5 form. Lower 5. So you can understand it as lower 5 form and higher 5 form. The term is due to an end. Taplow is to get his result, and he will be promoted to higher 5 form. Presently he's a student of lower 5 form. And the reason he's going to Crocker Harris place is Crocker Harris, who is a very strict disciplinarian, follows all the rules and regulations to the letter T, has given Taplow on the last day of the term some extra work which he has to do, because Taplow had missed one of Crocker Harris's class, and it is on his way to Crocker Harris's place that he runs into Frank Hunter there, and a conversation is struck, and the conversation gives us many pieces of information about the kind of personality Crocker Harris is. So we learn that through the conversation, that is, with the help of the conversation, we learn that Crocker Harris takes his students to task for minor faults, and does not is an unforgiving character. No child can take Crocker Harris for granted at all. And this is what Frank Hunter envies, the kind of that Crocker Harris, despite the fact that he does not have the kind of rapport that, say for example, Frank Hunter has. Crocker Harris enjoys a good control and influence over his children, over his students. So this is what Frank Hunter seems to envy. So on the surface, this excerpt of the play The Browning Version by Terence Rattigan is basically a chance interaction between a child and a teacher of the same school wherein the child studies. However, this is an excerpt. It is only a small little piece picked up from the play named as The Browning Version, written by Terence Rattigan. So if we only study the play, if we only give the play a reading, we might not be able to quite relate to it, or it might, no deeper understanding would follow. Therefore, in order to understand this particular short piece of play, which actually is an excerpt, we must first understand the significance of the title, the Browning version. Because when you read the play, there is no character as Browning in the play. Yet, the title is the Browning version. So we must first understand why Terence Rattigan has titled this particular brief play, which you will all understand when you read it word for word, as the Browning version. So the answer is this, that this play is based on Robert Browning, who was a poet. Robert Browning's translation of a Greek play called Agamemnon. Here it is, Agamemnon. Here I have underlined it, Agamemnon, written by Aeschylus. And Agamemnon is a tragedy. I repeat, the play, the excerpt, the Browning version, is actually based on, or you may say is a partial adaptation of a Greek tragedy called Agamemnon, written by Aeschylus. Now, because it was written in Greek, so Robert Browning translated this play Agamemnon into English. And this Browning version, this play, is based on Robert Browning's translation, or Robert Browning's version of, or his interpretation of Aeschylus' play Agamemnon.